Right, let's do that one again, because I didn't do that very well. Oh, you twat, you. Now, one of the things I wanted to address is there's no one size fits all. So what my diet does for me probably won't work for the person down the street or around the corner or my best mate or, you know, his girlfriend. Everyone needs their own tweak on things. And this is why I think you need to listen to what your body says. So where I'm currently having the OMAD with 60% fat, 40% protein, no carbs or as little carbs as I can get away with, and just drinking water, not everybody will probably gravitate towards that or respond that well to it. They might need slightly more fat, less protein. They might need more protein, less fat. I would always say keep the carbs as low as possible to force your body to go into fat oxidation and burning off fat as fuel. But everyone needs their own little tweak, and this is where you need to listen to what your body needs. If people try and force you down a route where you've got to keep certain macros, I think that's always going to fail. I think you need to pick something that you know you can sustain long term. Because whilst we call it the carnivore diet, I would prefer it to be called just carnivore. It's a way of life. We've made a choice to put nature's best into our bodies. It shouldn't be something we just go on for a couple of weeks, couple of months to lose some fat and then show off around the pool or feel better about ourselves for a couple of weeks. I think it's something that we ought to do long term, because it's far better for us than just losing body fat. It has far more attributes to that, you know. Mentally, you're better. You've just got more energy throughout the day. You sleep better. You know, overall, it's just a complete wellness package with very, very easy to follow guidelines. You eat animal products, you drink water, things miraculously get better. So I think as long as you're cutting out things like cigarettes and, you know, obviously tobaccos and alcohol, cutting out all those junk carbs and things, eating nothing but your animal products and the fat that comes with them, and drinking plenty of water, I think you're on the right track. But everyone needs their own little tweak. So whilst watching my videos and obviously see me doing OMAD and stuff, that might not work for everybody. Some people might need 2 meals a day. They might need 3 meals a day. But as long as they're animal based, they're not going to go far wrong. So if you watch mine and you say, well, you know what, he's managed to go 23, 24, 25 hours without a meal, but I can't do that. Don't think that you're doing anything wrong. Don't think that you're lesser or, you know, anything like that. It's simply how my body's tuned up. It's just what my body's been able to do. I am going to change things in a couple of weeks' time once I've finished this little experiment. But the key thing to take away is listen to what your body says. If you're eating carnivore and you can't do 1 meal a day, do 2 meals a day. If you can't do 2 meals a day, do 3 meals a day. As long as it's quality nutrition and there's no carbs and you're getting that extra activity in your day, you'll be fine. You'll find your body will naturally gravitate to what it wants to do. So don't beat yourself up, just relax, enjoy the day, enjoy this new feeling of, you know, completeness, because you're getting all this complete nutrition into your body, and just go along, freewheel along with the ride. You know, don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Initially giving up things like, you know, tobacco and caffeine and, you know, alcohol and stuff like that, giving up carbs will be tough. There's no doubt about it. It will be tough, and tougher for certain people, because people like myself who have been all their lives a sugar addict, the first few weeks were rough. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I've been sat in a supermarket car park almost in tears, because I'd got this kind of mental connection with either a supermarket or a gas station where I also had to get myself a treat. And because I was breaking that bond, oh God, it was absolute agony. It was like I was going into withdrawal symptoms, like going cold turkey. It was horrible. But I did it. Bit by bit, I did it. And now, if, say, I go to the supermarket and I get a craving, instead of reaching for the packet of biscuits or the Haribos or, you know, the extra chewy chocolate chip cookies, I'll get a packet of chorizo or some spicy sausage. All I do is look on the back, make sure it's got plenty of protein, plenty of fat, make sure it's got no carbs in it or next to no carbs whatsoever. And that's all the different types of carbs, you know, all the hidden ones, the ones where they call them different names. Make sure it's got none of that in it and just eat that. Or, you know, some chicken, you know, some chicken legs or something like that. I'll just grab myself some of that. So I'm not seeing myself off with a treat, but it's a better quality treat. And whilst I might not eat it all, it's still better than reaching to what I used to grab towards. So sometimes you've got to pick your battles, and if you take the better choice, it's sometimes better than making no choice whatsoever. Because I think we could all be monk-like and kind of go, right, I'm gonna be all zen, and if I can't eat carnivore but I'm starving, I'm getting these cravings, I'll just have to ride it through. Sometimes it's a little bit easier and more comforting just to go, right, I've got the cravings, but instead of getting that, which is going to make me poorly, make me bad again, I'm just going to grab something nutritious and have that as a, you know, a fallback. So sometimes I do, you know, need something, but it'll be good quality nutrition rather than junk nutrition. Anyway, it's pretty much time for me to go to work. I know it's just been a short little video, but I'm sure you've got busy things to do throughout the day and stuff. So I'm wishing you all the best with whichever diet you're doing. You know, if you're carnivore like me, full power to you. If you're not, that's fine. You know, there's no skin off my nose. And I just want you all to be fit, happy and healthy. Have a positive attitude on life. And believe in yourselves. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in yourself. You've got the power to change your life, make it the way you want it to be, and you only get out of life what you put into life. If you sit on the couch watching YouTube videos of me walking around a countryside, that's great, but you imagine if you watched the video and then got out into the countryside or down your local street or anywhere, the more you get out of life, you'll get the rewards from it. Morning, boys and girls. It's an early morning, just after 5 o'clock in the Nottinghamshire countryside. I've got to go to work, so I thought, right, I'm working locally, I'll knock out a quick video before I set off. And I thought today I can give you an update on my trial with the OMAD Carnivore. And you know what, it's gone surprisingly well, to be honest. I've lost another pound of body fat since the last video, which was a week ago, and it's not been any hassle at all, to be honest. It's been pretty easy, and I would definitely recommend people try OMAD Carnivore. It's been very satisfying when you sit down there, because obviously you eat all your calories within an hour or two's window. So you get a nice big hearty meal all in one go. So if you was brought up like me, because I'm the son of a coal miner, you cleared everything on your plate or you was in trouble. So it harks back to those days where you get a nice big meal or multiple small meals to make a banquet. And if that suits you, then you'll probably get on well with the OMAD Carnivore. I've not found it any problems having hunger throughout the day, no loss of energy, and from what I've read and what I've researched, whilst I'm probably not getting the full amount of calories that I would normally get if I ate, say, carbohydrates and, you know, higher fat amounts and things, the calorie deficit is being made up by the body fat I'm consuming through the day. So if I'm getting roughly around about 1900 calories per day in my meals, then obviously any shortfall is being topped up by the body fat that I'm consumerism working throughout the day. So overall, I'd say OMAD Carnivore is definitely a very positive thing. I felt great every day bouncing out of bed, and as you can see, you know, it's just after 5 and I'm certainly not exhausted. You know, I've had, I don't know, 6 hours sleep and feeling great. So it's definitely worth having a go, definitely worth, you know, trying out and just see how you get on with it. So the top tips for OMAD Carnivore is to make sure you get enough to eat, because I can't think of anything worse than working all day, comes to your main meal and you don't put enough in your body. You feel like you're being restricted, you feel like you're being seen off. That I don't think is going to do you any good at all. Make sure you get plenty to eat. You know, the meal is like a proper good reward. You're putting all that quality nutrition into your body, all those healthy fats, healthy proteins, and just eat to satiety. Obviously look at your macros, make sure you're getting the right amounts and things, but in general make sure you get your fill, because that's why most other diets fail, because you always feel like you're being restricted, like you've done something wrong, like you've been punished. And where other diets fail because they say, well, eat the same things but less, well, it's almost like you're in prison, isn't it? On the carnivore diet, that shouldn't be the case. We should be embracing nature and nature's best and eating that top quality nutrition to make us feel great from the inside out, so our body heals itself. You know, we don't want all this mental stress telling us, well, you've done wrong, so now you're going to be punished with tiny little meals. Don't want to do that. So make sure you get plenty to eat. And the other top tip is to make sure you're fully hydrated throughout the day. Don't make the mistakes I've done this week, where I've worked intensively for 6-7 hours without a drink, because you feel less than optimal. So I would say make sure you've got some good quality water, filtered water or mineral water, or just tap water. You know, as it's clean, just keep drinking throughout the day. Make sure that you're fully hydrated, because without hydration, we can't filter anything out. We're not going to be at optimal kind of performance levels. So I would definitely say plenty of hydration. Another top tip for OMAD is to have some variety in your meals. Don't just have the same thing every single night. Whilst it won't do any harm to have the same thing every single night, it just gives your brain and your body something different to look forward to, because the carnivore diet should be seen as a reward. You're giving your body a reward with this quality nutrition. So if you've got lots of good quality flavors, you know, your blue cheeses, eggs, chicken, pork, lamb, all these different things you could have every night to make up your macros. You know what, let's have a bit of variety, fill your body full of all the good stuff, keeps you away from all the bad stuff. So I think that's definitely worth doing. It was great to read your comments the other day. That was a big boost. I know the channel's tiny, I know it's steadily growing, but I can honestly say so far I've got the best subscribers going. Some of the comments are actually, you know, far beyond I ever imagined I would get. And you know what, it's great. It's great, because at the end of the day, I'm just a normal working guy wandering around local fields. And you don't have to walk around in the countryside to get fit and healthy. It's just what's on my doorstep. If I lived in a city, or, you know, in a village or a small town or anything, or in the middle of nowhere, I would still get out and do as many steps as I could, because it doesn't matter what the terrain is or the environment. As long as you're moving your body, you're going to get fitter and healthier. Because the best exercise for fat loss is anything where your heart rate isn't too high. As soon as it goes above, I don't know, about 100 and 120 beats a minute, you're starting to burn more carbohydrate than fat. And whilst there's tons and tons of videos online saying, right, best cardio workout for burning fat, that's really not that effective. And people have known this for decades. The best way to lose body fat is low heart rate exercises, for example, walking, and just doing as much of it as you can. You'll always burn more body fat by walking and walking and walking than you will be trying to run, trying to damage your body with all that impact to the shocks and stuff. Just walk, and wherever possible, add a little bit of weight bearing exercise. Doesn't mean you've got to go to the gym and start pumping iron for hours and hours a day. Don't need to do that. But even if it's just carrying bags of groceries or shopping and, you know, picking the kids up, anything where you add some kind of weight bearing exercise combined with walking as often as possible, you will naturally start burning more body fat. Now, as you get leaner, then yeah, build yourself into the gym, do more, you know, structured exercise and things. It's certainly no bad thing. But initially, if you're carrying a lot of body fat, the best thing for you is literally to get out, whatever your environment, and just walk as often as possible. At first you might find, you know, it's hard work, it's painful on the body, but just build it up bit by bit. Keep that as zero or as low carb as possible. Get your quality nutrition and just build in as much walking as possible. And if you can, you know, get a few bits and pieces for the home to put some resistance, maybe some resistance bands or some cheap dumbbells or anything like that. Just build in a few little exercises just to keep you going. So whilst all this looks really quite picturesque, it's nice, it's serene, you can hear the birds going and stuff like that. When you think about it, all these crops go towards products which just make us fat and unhealthy. So whilst they're pretty, I don't think we need any of that. Now in the local village, they've got cattle roaming and things like that, but unfortunately there's nowhere to actually park up and walk and have a proper look. So I'm going to see if I can get permission to, you know, actually go in and visit the cows and just see how well they're looked after and stuff. Because around here, what they do is, because they've got limited space and stuff, they just bring the cows out and just let them roam over the fields and things. They're almost like, well, free range lawnmowers. So if someone's got a plot of land and, you know, it's getting a bit overgrown, the cows come out, you know, eat it down and stuff like that. It's a bit like in certain parts of the country, if they've got loads and loads of sheep and lambs and things like that, supposedly lambs don't like eating grass which is too long. Apparently it tickles their ears and they don't like eating that. So often they'll bring goats in first to trim down the grass and then bring the sheep in. Don't know how true that is. It's just I was told that once when I was working in Wales, and they've got lots of sheep there, so who knows, it might be true, might not be. Now a lot of people have thought, isn't it quite ironic that I do all these vlogs in the countryside and, you know, I come out to listen to the birds singing and see the animals jumping around in the hedgerows and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a carnivore and I enjoy eating animals. But I don't think it's ironic in any way, shape or form, because at the end of the day, the better the life an animal has and the better its upbringing and the care it's been given and the better its nutrition, the better our nutrition. And I think, you know, in an ideal world, they'd be treated like, well, royalty. You know, you imagine just how good an animal would taste if from the moment it was born to the moment it was culled, it just had the very best of its natural habitat, natural nutrition. Just imagine how fit and healthy we could be by consuming them. I know there's this big push for everything to be grain fed, you know, factory farmed and just produced in such a way that it's much more cost effective and stuff. But in an ideal world, it would be great to actually keep them in far better conditions and stuff. So, but hopefully, if more and more people do, you know, progress to carnivore, maybe the industry will change. Forget about growing all this stuff and actually start growing, you know, livestock populations, treating them really, really well, making them taste absolutely amazing. So no, I don't think it's ironic, and I don't feel bad eating meat. It's something I've always done from being a kid. I was brought up eating meat. I have tried plant-based. I have tried living on I suppose it is classed as vegan now, but I tried living on a meal replacement product called Huel, and I've tried that pretty much for about 2 years non-stop. And while some people have obviously responded quite well to it, for me it was absolute agony. It was almost like a case of stubbornness that I just didn't want to give it up. I certainly didn't lose any weight. I got as fat can be on it, because I got sucked into the whole almond milk and coconut milk and rice milk to mix this meal replacement product with, and as a result my sugars were going up higher and higher every day, and I did get fat. And I tell you what, constipation and bowel problems and explosive diarrhea, oh, terrible. So at the moment on a carnivorous diet, I feel a million times better than I ever did on that. Growing up in a coal mining community, meat was always an important element of a meal. It was something which was revered. We didn't take it for granted. It didn't come in a, you know, a cellophane square. It wasn't like, you know, pre-packed in any way, shape or form. It was usually a big chicken or a roast beef joint or leg of lamb and stuff like that, and it was for special occasions. It was always made the most important part of our meal. We also ate vegetables and stuff like that, you know, which most people do, but we didn't have tons and tons of bread, we didn't have tons of pasta, we didn't have tons of rice. It was very much meat and, you know, greens and things like that. It weren't until I got older that I just started, well, just eating whatever I could get hold of. And because there's all this information out saying, well, you're not doing that bad if you're eating whole grain breads and, you know, you're eating brown rice and whole grain pastas and stuff, you're not doing that bad. But in reality, I was really setting the steps for downfall of my health and things, because within, well, say within 20 years, I was as fat as can be for my size of frame, and feeling really unwell. You know, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, you know, things like that. Don't need it. Don't need it. I mean, when you think about it, I've got a son that I need to look after. I need to be around. I need to be fit, vital and healthy and stuff to, you know, be around for him and enjoy life as I go on. So for me, I think I made the best decision ever. Anyway, that's enough waffle for me. And by showing you countryside and stuff like that, that's not to say that my location is better than your location or anything like that. Anywhere you live, whether it be on a city street, you know, some great metropolis, it doesn't matter. As long as you get out and experience life, do as much exercise, walking, exploring, finding new adventures, just do as much as you can. Everywhere on the planet is great if you make it great, because you only get out of life what you put into life. It's just, this is right on my doorstep. I've spent years not walking around these, ignoring it, just jumping in a van or a car and driving to all the different locations and never actually coming to see what's on my doorstep. So this is me kind of having a reawakening, a revitalization of my life and just making changes. So It's not a one-upmanship competition. It's not a case of my place is better than your place or anything like that. If anything, it might give you inspiration to think, you know, at the weekend I'm going to take a short drive, get out into countryside, get some sunshine, listen to some wildlife, and just do something different. It's been a pleasure. I know I've done my usual waffling on. I know there's hardly any production value in this, and I've not got the time lapses and the, you know, the super slow motion and the skateboards. I haven't got all that, but I have to play with what I've got. So anyway, I wish you all the best. Of course, as always, anything that I've given out on this little vlog is just my own personal opinion. It's entirely up to you if you want to follow any my kind of advice or listen to me, or even press the mute button and just look at the scenery. It's all good. So anyway, take it easy.